Hi YouTube, I'll sit and talk to you for a while. I was watching a Lionel Nation last night, and I have never mentioned the kid, boy, that works for Bud Light ever. But I found myself being snarled and yelled at by you, Lionel, because I'm one of them women, maybe not me in particular, but I'm a authentic woman that refuses to call a man for any reason a woman. I am offended that a man would do that towards women and get angry because we refuse to play along in that game of that sickness. Now, you don't see it as a sickness, okay, then that's where you're coming from. But stop yelling at women that believe in traditional families and teach our children that. Shame on you for yelling at people. For real. I'm going to talk to you in a minute like you talk to people. So just get a buckle up, buttercup, like Rex Bear would say. Now you listen to me. And you listen to me good when I start talking again here just a minute. I'm not gonna get angry about this because that's exactly what the dark force would want me to do. In fact, that isn't even in me. Don't ensue and insinuate towards women that we don't have compassion for anybody going through turmoils in their life. How dare you assume that of other people and put that upon us? That's just plain wrong. You're taking somebody that's totally innocent in a situation and harming them. So, anyway, I think that might be that on that. Might not be, though. But, yeah. Because I don't even talk about any person in particular except for what used to be deemed as a mental illness or satanic, take your pick, is now being promoted as acceptable for the whole world to teach our children on your say-so because that's acceptable in your life. Well, I'm not buying it. No, thank you. I worked hard for other things in this country aside from appeasing somebody that does harm me through you and through their own intent towards the children. So, and it is going to get a whole lot worse, and people like you are promoting it by calling these men she. Don't take who women are away from them. You may not like the one you're with, and no, not everybody wants to be your wife or be your wife. We like who we are. At least I do, and I always have in my adult life. So just, get a few things straight with yourself, okay? There is nothing about any other human being that I would want to be like. Not even younger. I want to get the fuck out of here. And I almost damned you. And I thought, well, I'm just going to try and logically and sensibly appeal to your better sense of judgment in this whole thing for women and children, regardless of the society you live in and what is acceptable in your neck of the woods. what's acceptable in your society, what type of church you would go to, who you associate with may be entirely different than mine. I don't go to church, by the way, but if I did, I can assure you it wouldn't be in a giant city unless I was forced. In fact, I wouldn't probably even go to another church unless I was forced or dead, one of the two. But that's another story. So, yeah, not everybody wants to live around that chaos. What you don't see, you don't see it as chaos. You don't see it as disturbing or disturbed or a sickness. But the ones of us that have suffered from that sickness and these types of people know full well what it is. So I'm going to stand up to it and for other people that feel that way, regardless. And if you'd like to come and yell at me, you do that. My door is open. You can open your mouth. I mean, I'm not going to do anything to you unless you did something first, but open your mouth to me right to my face. That's not going to be as brave of you as you would think. Because I'm not a stupid woman and I'm not an incompassionate woman. Compassion is for the whole world, not your select 5% of the weirdos and those that pacify them for funds or entertainment, whatever turns your crank, dude. You know. But you better stop leaving the family women alone. I can really assure you that you're probably going to run into a warrior mother, a real mother, not a motherfucker, excuse me, but a mom. So anyway, and she'll probably give you a piece of her mind. Let her tickle your ears instead of Satan in there, right? Because you're not working for families. You're not even thinking of the deepest aspect of not calling a man a woman for any reason. It's false. Get it? So, yeah. I couldn't believe you were yelling at people like that, getting uppity y'all like that shit. It's like, wow, dude. Yeah, you must have a firearm for real. I could see why you'd feel like you'd need one. I'm a little different. I invite people to spar with me because they think they're all that. And you think I'm kidding. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Mm. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do something, warning for anybody that does not want me to watch me hit my pipe. You need to leave now. Um, I'm not meaning to offend anybody, but I'm going to take a hit and then I'm going to continue to talk here. So, yeah, I'll give you a few seconds here to vacate the earth. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe not. Wow, maybe not. So, wow, fucking snarling and yelling at people because women will not call a man a she. Hmm. Here's to you, moron. Then it's all plugged up a little bit. So, Yeah, that made me feel a little bad, and I thought about it through the night, and I thought, wow, that takes a lot of audacity to insist. And even if I didn't have compassion for him, that wouldn't even be evil. Who the heck and what the heck and why? Just fuck, man. Whoa. So, yeah, that was a trip. I have a certain amount of respect for people, but sometimes that wanes. And you could say the same too, but guess what? I'm not siding with evil towards hurting women and children. Okay, man, say whatever you want after that. Because I just ended a sentence, don't add something to it. And I can hear people, I can hear when God's talking to their spirit, and they just keep getting madder and madder. They don't even listen. They're gods unto themselves, is what they are. They don't have that compassion for reality. So wrapped up in your world of entertainment, aren't you? Holy shit. Snarling, you were fucking snarling at people and raising your voice. I mean, I do. If I get attacked, you're going to hear more than a snarl. That was totally rude and uncalled for. Okay, so you feel sorry for him. Most of the world does. It's called pity. But to assume that human beings really don't, maybe some don't have that compassion. I don't know. I'm not them. Or maybe you heard something out of somebody. Or maybe you thought I'm somebody I'm not. And on that note, fuck you. I don't care what you think. Because then on that note, if you can't feel my soul, you're entirely brain dead. Oh, and by the way, do you ever know if I'm high out here or not? I usually am not. I'm so not really much even now. I got a little tiny buzz. Yeah. I haven't smoked all my life. When my kids were little, I quit. When I was pregnant, different times, 10 years here, 10 years there, whatever. I mean, and now I've been smoking for about 7, 8 years again, something like that. But that time in between, I bet that last time was probably about another 10 years. So, like when I was a young working mom, working at the casino as a dealer, you cannot do things like that and excel in your life. No, but yeah, I work harder on here, but I'm still somewhat retired, as well I should be, for the amount of physical labor I've done. And I kind of got a hint that somebody was insinuating that I had more time on my hands, that I wasn't really doing much, or maybe never have. Yes, I want to spar with somebody like that, because you have no clue what your words do to the blood inside my veins. So, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we all talk quite a bit, don't we? But oh, if we're so knowledgeable on the human psyche, then it really makes me wonder whose side you're on. Because there is a side. Pick one. Ones that would actually harm other people, or ones that wouldn't. Pretty simple. Better pick a side. Time's getting short, bucko. Wow. It's just astonishing. Amazing, actually. Yeah. I don't have enough compassion for a man to demean other women, ever. I won't do it. And if a woman doesn't have that within her, then she's liable to do anything on this planet, and she is not worth her salt. And neither are you, and that's how I feel about that. So what you think of me really pales in comparison. It's not an insult. You live your life, I live mine. But I'm not going to do what's against God's laws and pretend that there's nothing wrong with it. And by me ignoring what can happen and is happening to the kids through all this, I'm not going to do it. I refuse. I wouldn't want it happening to me when I was little and the things I went through. And I'm talking from experience with everything I'm speaking about right now. And also having taken psychology and studying it most of my life. I'd wager to say because of the predicament I was in, I started studying that probably before you did. But who could prove that, right? And the absorption and the impacts of what we actually know personally or what we don't know in psych, that's something too. So I guess you wouldn't know what it's like to be a real mother and have a man yell at you for a man dressed like a woman. So you couldn't really speak on it, could you? But you did. Anyway, that's the way life goes, I guess. God, one disappointment right after another. I could use like a couple miracles coming up here. Maybe we all could, huh? I don't know why people even keep talking about it. Just by talking about it, it's like there's nothing else to talk about. So we'll just use this one person as an example and attack everybody because of it, because it's the current thing to do. Because do what thou will is the whole of the law for y'all, regardless of who gets hurt under your feet, right? I just want you to come and snarl and yell in my face because you're yelling at women. Um, I already see your opening, by the way. It's a gift from God. But there's another opening there, And that's why I'm trying to talk about it without the anger included. That's the part of your heart I'm trying to reach, if possible. If it's not possible, I guess Michael needs to go sit down at the children's table, because Michael didn't stand up. He was sitting down and he kept talking, but he didn't stand up. And these are all the things I was thinking through the night, and more. Not just about one person or anything, nah. Not dwelling on it, but it was made a talking point by so many people now out of popularity, and it's just, I don't understand it. I really don't. There's no reason for it. It seems like it was directed by somebody towards somebody. Otherwise, there's no reason for it. I can always think of something to talk about. Current events, you know. Unfortunately, the most current event is the oddities that our children are being taught that as a normalcy, in the confusion from the author of confusion. And I'm gonna have to damn you for that. So enjoy your life, because the next stage of your life will be far worse for you because of the hardships you put upon your own soul. And some people never learn. When you hurt innocent people, no, no, and no. Nope, it's not going to fly here. Anyway, what did the two witnesses witness? Does anybody know? I'm sure you'll probably say, like, the resurrection of Christ. What if I told you that isn't it? They witnessed a rape and child molestation, child rape, murder, laying with the same sex. See, there's a pretty big list on the war in heaven, and the two witnesses that watched all that and had to come up with a plan to try and squelch all that they brought down to the earth. So what did they witness, eh? I just told you. Okay, that's what it is. Then I had somebody on my Facebook, oh yeah, Christ is going to come back and he's going to have 5 virgins because of their lamps. And I said, did you ever think something might be spiritual? You know, because all these men out here are thinking they have multiple spiritual wives. It's really a weird thing when there's only one bride of Christ and women that she helps as her handmaidens to keep their lamps full for procreation of the archangels that deserve a spouse. And that's what that's all about. It's a training ground for them. They aren't even her, and they are separate souls, and they are not brides. They're handmaidens. And the church is called the body of Christ, as in our temples. Otherwise, it wouldn't be bride and bridegroom. But the two witnesses know that for a fact. Or the crazy bride and bridegroom that control this world in their whacked out manners out of selfishness. And that's who people that would yell at innocent people, that's who you're listening to, those demonic spirits. It's like the incubus succubus type of duality, you know. It's not the Christ and his bride type of duality, the true feminine or the true male. You're listening to people that traded their sense of self to trick the whole world. And they share in that through their minds, nothing to do with anybody's hearts, like Christ and his bride, not even close. And they have the minds too. With God's Spirit, it's a built-in Trinity. Well, that satanic duel, they don't have that Trinity factor. They use the people for that part. And once they train the people for what they want, the people are nothing more than, like they say, like a battery when they're being used. It's really what's going on. I asked this guy that talked about the 7 or 5 virgins, brides, um, if he wanted to know any more about it. And he pretty much was satisfied with his interpretation, and I was like, okay. I said, Godspeed, wayward. There'll be peace when you are done. You know, carry on, my wayward son. And that's true. So yeah, today's been kind of a little different. I didn't get my exercises done yet, but I'm thinking about it. I may take a day off, I'm not sure. Wow, poor Bobby Kennedy taking flack from people for exercising. Who cares? I finally did see it. It's like, yeah, he's pretty ripped for an old dude. You know, somewhat. You can tell that he's probably been a swimmer in his life or has done a lot of walking, maybe sit-ups, something like that. Because people don't have definition at his age without having used their muscles. You know, that's what it takes. So yeah, I would never tell anybody to stop exercising. I'd tell them to put a shirt on, unless they're promoting like bodybuilding vitamins they're selling or some weird thing. Maybe I'd still wear a muscle. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go topless. Hell no, I'm not a stupid bitch like that. Are you fucking kidding me? And you can walk around that and think there's nothing wrong with it? Oh, I don't have to ask, who are you? I guess I know. That's sad. Wow. Holy shit. The world's weird. And I'm just finding out. No, no, I've always known. Oh, God. I shared a Rex Bear, his Zorg channel, doing a dance in his living room, and it was a pretty funny. Loved it. Some good energy. Like it when somebody just busts out singing or dancing, or, you know, to me it's oddly funny because I'm like that too. You never know. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, Leak Project has also got another channel. Rex Bear does. It's called Pandora's Box. That's pretty good. He's got some good stuff over there. I haven't watched it all, but everything that's there I know about already. All this stuff I have. And I would like to think that a lot of people, I kind of spurred them on to digging for the truth a little deeper. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But it's just odd how somebody would just fall in with the agendas that are going on. And Doug did say that too about you, Lionel Nation, that you're a part of it all. Yeah, I said maybe. I said, I know for a fact this old lady is. I said, but I'm not quite sure about him, where he stands on the whole thing. I said, because God forbid they both used to be Catholics, so I can understand that you would have that, maybe a good upbringing, but not as far as scripturally, and the fact of what is real and what is presented right before my face, as fake it as it all seems. That's a big clue right there, you know. It's called fictitious, you know. Uh, guess what I'm saying is maybe it wasn't a very good idea to put trust in somebody that's worked for the government. No, I have before, more than once, but I thought it was funny. My first job as a first time I worked for the government as a student teacher, but yeah, anyway. I still think there's a spark of Christ spirit in people that I'm picking on right now, that I'm trying to dig out of you. That you have to put your um, selfish desires of having to tell friends the way it is instead of what they want to hear. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I can't really help you much except for appeal to your better nature. That you shouldn't be yelling at women because they may not have that compassion for that man. Don't condemn them for it. They're afraid. You need to fuck off with all that and stop yelling at people. Unless you want something like that to happen to you. Just think about it. To me, somebody that would be thoughtless of the damage that it could do to other people by insisting something is real when it isn't, that's a gross injustice. It's gross. I know some little people, little girl. What if they're sitting there watching that? What if one of my little granddaughters came in the room and I'm watching somebody yelling like that, shaming people because they won't call a man a woman for any reason, and these little kids or little people are getting yelled at and they're hearing all this, and or little boys, even a baby in a high chair. It's like, oh, I can hardly believe it, but I have to, and I have to confront it. I have a video asking a question for the queers, and it's a very serious video full of a lot of health information, emotional health information, which I am a trained professional in these areas that I'm talking about. And you're taking no value in the truth. But then they did say these would be the times we are in. Seems to be. Where a lie would be called the truth and a truth would be called the lie. And that's just what it is, isn't it? Well, it is. God damn it. These men. Yeah, well, I don't think it's funny, cute, or entertaining. Yeah. The only time I wouldn't want to be around anybody that's even laid with the same sex is if they would have a tendency to be violent with me. And that's on an individual basis. Um, Otherwise, I mean, you're not coming in my house if you're a man and you're dressed in a dress. You wouldn't be welcome. But that's me. But if you respected me in my home, I would do likewise. See, I believe that the earth belongs to God's children, not the demons that are possessing people, that are making God's children fight them, and really all they want to do is be left alone and raise their families without all the chaos. But now I'm being called names and getting yelled and snarled at, and I've been beat up by men like you're coddling. Keep playing your games. They are not going to hurt you or hurt somebody that doesn't oppose them. I can oppose them without doing anything, but that's not good enough. I don't even bring it up. And if I bring it up, it's in the context of talking to the younger generation so they're not confused. And that's what a real adult would do in this circumstance, and that's what we are doing. Because we do not want to live in that type of culture. We have that right. And I believe this is our planet, not the planet of the clowns. And I believe that peace will come on this earth eventually, but it isn't going to be in clown world. Someday people are going to stand up for what really is just and honest. And a lot of people are. Millions. It, to me, is a big deal. You even take time and try and talk to somebody, because a lot of people aren't even worthy of that. Because and then there's two, yeah, who would listen and why would they? God knows. I think that's the clue, though, right there. God bringing people together. Why? 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 One that actually has always talked about God being me, and somebody else that started talking about him because of me. I'm kind of thinking that might be why people are brought together in some respects. Maybe there's some differences that will never be absolved. And there are different houses in the kingdom of God. There, my Father has many mansions, you know that line. So I shared some sermons from a pretty bright pastor, Vlad something or another, and he went over in just one video, not the last one, but the second one I shared last night. It had like 3, 4 different passages of what the type of things going on, and it has nothing to do with Sodom and Gomorrah. It's in Isaiah, and another one's in Romans, and there's several places I could go on and on to, but I just tell people it. I told you before that I'm not your typical type of minister. I do it a different way for a reason, and that's my calling. And I've read enough in my life, regardless of what anybody thinks, and my vocabulary speaks for itself, regardless of my stroke, also. That's a fighter like you have never seen, at least not on this planet. Might have seen it one other time you thought you were something, but you know, some people never learn. like I said earlier, you know? So I guess this is my last and final plea for do what's right, speak the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And no, not help you God, but may God help you with your heavy decisions that you have to make in your surroundings of the concrete jungle there, which I grew up in one, by the way. So I'm not really brain dead to the effects of the city or surviving in it, you know. I won't say thriving because I hate it. I couldn't wait to get out of there. And I've had to live in cities even after I left the first one, but it's not my thing. So really, you can't condemn people for anything that isn't their thing, right? Or can you? Because that must mean that you are righteous enough in the eyes of God to hold that position, a condemnation of a natural woman refusing to call a man a woman in front of her granddaughters. That's never going to happen. No way. No way. You get what you give on this planet. Just keep that in mind, and I try to tell people, this is coming up for you like you ain't never seen, and there's no amount of money or friends that can save you from that. That's from the inside out. That's wrenching, dude. I mean, when I watch people sitting next to people that are wrenching on the inside, and it rubbed off on you. And you know just what I'm talking about, because I'm not faking anything. Right down to the fact of what I told you earlier. I don't ever want to be anybody else. You couldn't make me want to look or act or think or dress or anything like anybody else but me. That's who I am. That's who I've always been and always will be. I'm not just part female, I'm the whole deal. So you can live with Mickey there and pretend all you want, and you can call yourself, what would a good Missy? Because you don't care. And that's how I feel. So now you can yell and snarl all you want through here, the invitation, and I'll call you little boy on that note of how you're going to feel. My door is open. Come and yell to my face. Tell you what, I don't eat lunch, but I'll cook you a supper, and then we'll go outside and you can yell at me. How's that sound? Sounds like a plan. Then you can take it from there. You can sit there and tell me to my face and snarl and yell at me that I have to have compassion enough to call a man a woman. But I hope I made that pretty clear that that's never going to happen. And real women on this planet aren't going to do it. They're going to see pretty clearly soonly here, a lot sooner than a lot of people just going along with the regime whatever brings whatever it is. It's so entertaining, isn't it? Okay, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. I just had to say what I'm saying. I didn't think I'd ever get yelled at because I've seen men in dresses. I've seen men rape babies. I've experienced a lot of horrible things from what you're promoting, and I've seen kids so messed up in homes where I worked as a professional that they just start crying in the middle of their homework and studies because of the things like you're promoting, and you just have no clue of the can of worms you're opening up on yourself. So that's your warning right there. That's all I can do. Put it in God's hands from here. All right. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.